Two, one. All right, welcome back to Football with the Great American Youth. We're back after a few weeks break. We came out of our last podcast with a lot of confidence. We were on a high. We felt good about our teams. We're unfortunately reporting some not great results since we last spoke, but we're still
It's
in a
tough
good place. The teams are still strong. Just, we're we're in the thick of it now. We're in the throes of the fantasy football season, and this is what you got to deal with. So we can get into it.
for sure. Start with your results for the last few weeks. You want to go through it?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we'll we'll get into your results as well, but I think this coming out of the last episode, I was feeling really confident about my team, kind of post trade, and kind of bringing everything together. I think the composition of my roster is still pretty strong. Like, not that much has changed, but week four and week five, two super close losses that could have very easily gone my way. I mean, 3 points to Sebastian and then five to Lucas. Both of them equally frustrating because they were players I could have started to ending to like won those matchups. With
You have
Lucas,
you're the better team by far compared to both.
yes, with both of them, yeah. Lucas had a bunch of guys injured our matchup. Like, he didn't even have a full team, and he
Aaron
ended up
Barkley, Montgomery.
Waller came out of nowhere. Montgomery, Saquon did well, and my team did fine. I picked up Michael Carter. Like, I was able to, you know, do well, but I ended up starting Woody Marks over Nick Chubb, and that ended up backfiring me on that week. So it, was one player away from winning there. Could have easily gone the other way. Same deal with Sebastian. I had multiple players on my bench who I could have started, and it would have gone the other way. Um, was
That's
able to pick up my free win against Alex. I think everyone's going to get their turn there. So happy that I was able to claw some momentum back there. But even still, it's the same type of performance. My team is putting up 100 plus every week. I'm having consistency there. It just hasn't been able to translate in some pretty important swing games for me. So not not the best last couple of weeks.
I will say though, you are putting up respectable numbers like 105, 100, 102. Those are all points that you should at least get by with. Like you should at least go 500 or better. But
Yeah, it's like,
obviously, one and two, not ideal.
yeah, any given week though, it's like those or any of those weeks I could have won other matchups. I just happened to lose the matchup that I was winning, which is, it's how it goes. But unfortunate last couple of weeks, and we'll get into you. I mean, similar setup. We're going both of us one and two in our break so far.
Yeah, I will say, like I mentioned at the end when I was just talking, you put up respectable point totals. I put up 76, 86, and then I mean 129, I bounced back. But I don't know, it was just very depressing to see. Like Marcus Mariota, I picked him up that week. My kicker as a highest scorer. JT, obviously he had a down week, week four, but like I made the trade with Lucas earlier this season, and then I end up losing to him. And in a fashion where like he drops 90 points, not even, I should be winning this game. Like it's frustrating. And it was one where I left players on the bench and I could have won this game. So, you move on from that. Week five, I just got killed. His whole team went off on me. I think it was like close at like the 1 o'clock slate and with JT going off for the hat trick, and then out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, the 4 o'clock slate, he just started hammering me with players, and then Diggs and Allen on, I think that was Sunday night football or whatever night football that was. They killed me, and Diggs went off for his season high, of course, and I mean it doesn't matter. I got killed. I didn't put up a good total at all. But one thing that's kind of funny to see looking at like my highest performers from these 3 weeks is the Colts players on it. Every week there's two of them. The kicker week four with JT Daniel Jones, JT Daniel Jones, and then obviously this week six, my whole team kind of went off. I think the funniest part, me and Edwin were talking about it, how it's kind of a fraudulent win. My defense went for like 18 points. It was Broncos against the Jets, which I don't know if that's fraudulent. Like they are the best defense.
That's just the best defense against the worst offense.
I mean, negative 10 passing yards is like not that surprising considering everything, but You move on, Eddie Pinheiro, 18 points. Like I think he had like 2 50-yarders and then was like 4 for 4 on the game. So I'll take that. And then along with the Colts combo of 40, like 4 points. I mean, if I could get like 45 to 50 from them every week, I'll at least be getting up a respectable total if the rest of my team can perform. So that's kind of the way I'm going to be taking my season going forward. So 3-3, we're both there. I guess, yeah, like this is a harsh reality. Like we've sucked the last 3 weeks. So it's kind of good we haven't been making the podcast because you guys would have just seen us like probably depressed. And
Yeah, like thankfully we were able to come back on wins for both of us. But yeah, I think one thing though that's interesting, even though we're, you know, shifted from above 500, we're both at 500 now, and sitting on the fringes of the playoffs. The league is still super close. I mean, the number of 3-3 teams and even below us 2-4 teams, like we are, I think, in a position where even though we're not in the best spot, the next, I mean, you could have 2 good weeks, 2 bad weeks, and that could change your season entirely at this
bad
point.
weeks, and you could easily be in contention for last place. One bad week, even like you're back in last place. It's crazy. It's the disparity in this league as since we moved to 12 men. I mean, we were talking about this before, but like the disparity has been crazy. I mean, I think even Joel at 5-1, I don't think he's safe. I don't know who he's playing this week. I think he's playing Yusuke. And I mean, I think anyone can beat anyone. And look, Yusuke's what, 9 in the power rankings, Joel's 1. Yusuke's actually projected to win this game against Joel. Like I don't think any game, like I think you can win any game, especially with bye weeks now. Like
I'm gonna say,
any
except
game
Alex,
for grabs.
maybe.
Yeah, Alex should be a free. I mean, 514, dude. Week 6, 514. That's literally not. Uh, I mean, I'm
514 is
below
it.
600, so that's not cool either. But like 514 being 90 or 85 under, that's
He
not.
has a pretty high. His points against are fairly high. To be fair to him, he is like the third or fourth highest there, but still, 514 is
I mean,
a
also if you look
diabolical.
at his team, like it's. I don't want to bash on him. I don't think he's gonna listen to this podcast, but just listen to this team. I think we should read this out. This is kind of the down bad portion, but Sam Darnold, Alvin Kamara, Tony Pollard. He does have CeeDee Lamb back, so I'll give him that. Nico Collins, sure, maybe his receivers are decent. David Njoku, Chuba Hubbard, ooh, Bears defense. Nick Folk, you don't need to hear that. Jerry Judy, Kyler Murray. I mean, nobody really good, and it's all just
Yeah,
wire players after that. Like,
was
he
Nico
asked,
Collins his second round pick?
I think so.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he just thought,
Neighbors too, or he had one of the receivers.
he.
He had to have somebody that got hurt for the year because this team is awful. I'm sorry.
Nah, he doesn't. He doesn't have anyone hurt for the.
You kidding?
This is just what he drafted.
That's really tough.
This is what we were talking about with the 12-team league. So Alex is the only one, I guess, who's drawn the short straw this year with the 12-team league. But it is way harder to, if you don't draft well, like it's going to show. You have to do a lot more to upgrade your team. And we have so many guys that
It doesn't
waivers you're not
even
going to be
show
able to rely
though.
on.
He's 2-4. Like if he wins this week, he's technically back in playoff contention.
Yeah.
The crazy part to me too is like Matt Cohen. Look at him, 696 points. He has the second most points in the league, and he's in 8th place in the power rankings. 35% playoff chance. This is the
He's down bad.
average.
He's down bad too, but like in a different way because it really is just there's no reason for him to be losing some of the matchups that he's losing, but he's still 2-4, which is it's crazy right now.
Also, look at the after week 3 to after week 6 for Matt Cohen. From second in the power rankings to 8. He was 2-1. Now he's 2-4. 3-game losing streak. And honestly, I think he has a pretty solid team. It's tough out here. The disparity in this league. It's also crazy. Look at that. I mean, he has more points scored than points against, and he's 2-4. Like that means he's. What does that mean? He's like barely.
He's outscoring. Yeah, it's like he's barely. Well, I don't know. I guess out of his last couple of results, he had to have like been blown out for his thing to be like that. But
Blown out, and then he like like just somehow won too. I don't know.
Yeah, well, last week, that's right. Joel, he lost last week on the Jaden Daniels fumble. He was
Oh,
winning up until so he was supposed to be Joel last week, and then Jaden Daniels
right.
fumbled on the last offensive play for the Commanders, which we'll get into, but that ended up losing him that. So he shouldn't even be 2-4, really. He should be 2-3.
Oh my God, I'm
Uh,
checking it. This is crazy.
the
His
week before, he
week
lost
one.
by
Yeah, week one, I beat him by like 2 points on Monday Night Football. Then he went on to win two games easily, so he was 2-1. That was after week three. Then he gets killed by Adwin, who drops for 150. Then loses by like 2 points on Monday Night Football to Matt Levin. Then the next night is what you were talking about. Like that's insane. It's an insane run. And then also Sebastian just went off on him too with Jalen Warren and T. Higgins. Like, this league it's tough out here, man. It's tough. I don't think there's free losses or free wins. Maybe Alex.
no, man.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then we got some trade news. I'll let you take it away. We got a few different transactions.
A couple big moves. Just kind of getting impatient with my team as you can see the results that were happening. This one in hindsight, honestly, is not looking great. I just did not like the way Dak was looking through 4 weeks when I made this trade. And since then, he's literally dropped like 30 points a game, of course, because that's how fantasy works. When a guy you think is trending down, they flip it around and they start looking good. And now he has CD back. So I mean, I'm not loving this trade in hindsight, but I do have Daniel Jones and I feel comfortable with him. And Keenan Allen, I do need more receivers, but Keenan Allen has kind of sucked since I made this trade, of course, too. So hindsight, not looking great there, but I mean, Elite Kaio Manor, I didn't really need him. So it's not a bad trade right now. I'm not like upset with it, but it's not looking great on paper. Like, how would you grade it? Would you grade it similarly?
I mean,
You did
I
text me
think it's
that you liked it though. So like that was originally, but
this one. I think is a these types of trades, especially like a 2-for-1 like this. It all just depends on the value you have, on your team. I think for you, Dak was like an easy. Dak was tradable. Like it's not like you needed to rely on him. You have Daniel Jones. You had other options that you could stream at quarterback really and get just as good performances as Dak, especially without CD. And Aomanor is like not better than Keenan Allen. That offense is just kind of whatever. So I think for you, like you picked up a starting player, Matt picked up a quarterback who maybe he plays, and a receiver who is
yeah,
only going to start if he has injuries or something else happens. Like Aomanor isn't a legitimate, consistent starter for a team that's trying to win games. Like unless you that's he's not a first option. So I think you won this trade pretty solidly in terms of the value that you were getting. Was good for your team, and you actually needed.
yeah, it was definitely an upgrade, but I mean, yeah, on paper right now, look not looking great, but also Matt has Lamar, so I don't know. Like he's not even
Yeah, it's like a
like next week. So yeah, this was a big one. Was getting very sick of Derrick Henry, and I honestly part of this too was the trade I made earlier this year where I got Olave and Pittman for Eckler and Ayuk. So like I kind of included that value of this trade, like how I kind of won that trade in this trade. So I didn't feel like it was as bad of a loss. I just feel like I needed to like I just have so many like mid receivers on my team, including Olave, Pittman, like Jamison Williams, Godwin. I just needed to trade in 2 for 1 in what I thought was an upgrade or like a guy that'll get more production. And honestly, I was fine kind of doing the Derrick Henry for ETN. It wasn't necessarily straight up, but like I was okay doing that. I think ETN's had a good start to this year. I kind of like his upside over Derrick Henry's, where they're going to be down in a lot of games, and I don't know if they're going to be running the ball with him, and they might use Justice Hill a lot more. So I mean, I think overall very fair trade. I don't think it's like veto worthy or anything, but I definitely gave up a lot, and I don't think I necessarily got a ton in return, but I do think it's a fair trade, and I think I upgraded my roster at receiver. So I'll take that. And kind of running back. Like I think I'm getting a more consistent running back. Um, what are your thoughts on this trade too?
Yeah, I mean, you,
I
I
think
was
I
the
reached here, so I don't be honest,
well. I mean, one, I was going to say first off, this is like ETN's fourth team of the season already.
he
I feel
drafted
like
him, right?
no, I traded for him. I don't think I.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
fourth.
I traded for him with Adwin, and then I traded him to Yusuke, and now he's gone from Yusuke to you. So he's been getting passed around like crazy. But I mean, I think after we saw Derrick Henry's, his performance over the weekend, I think he looked more
Derrick Henry.
close to what you would expect from him. Um, But still, I mean, Baltimore hasn't looked good this year. And if they're out of playoff contention, especially closer towards the end of the season, that might impact some of what they're looking like. Like, I think that Derrick Henry's very game script dependent. His success was based off Baltimore being dominant. But without Lamar and without a dominant offense, you can't really guarantee that. So I don't mind. Like, I traded Genty after a couple of weeks. So I don't mind the idea of trading Derrick Henry at all. I do think Olave and Pittman are both good options. Like I think that I do think that's lost value there. But Worthy's a solid option. He put in a good performance last week. Even with Rashee Rice coming back, I think he provides value for you there. But it's definitely more boom or bust. I think he's a guy I think I told you as well. It's like between him and Jamison Williams, those are guys who they're gonna win you some games, but it's gonna be a couple of games that they might lose you too. And that's kind of the balance you have to play. But you're getting more consistency across the rest of your team and you feel confident in that, then it ends up working out.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of my thoughts on the trade and why I ultimately ended up making it. But yeah, the standings. Kind of went through it earlier, but anything stand out to you, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we did touch on a lot of the big points. Cohen 2-4 with all of his points. Joel kind of lucking into 5-1, but the
Fraudulent?
league overall looking a little fraudulent, still a little fraudulent, but the league overall I think looking really close. Some of those 2-4 teams. I mean, mostly Alex. I don't know if he really has too much of a shot at this point, but everyone else I think is in play for the playoffs realistically. So it's a lot that can happen. We saw how much happened in the few weeks that we were gone. So a lot that can still happen in between now and the postseason.
Totally. It's really all up for grabs. So yeah, let's get into your matchup for this week.
Yeah, so going up against Max, as you can see, I still have one slot open. I'm trying to decide, do I go with Chubbs or Marks at running back? Do I just stick with Michael Carter? I'm not sure how much I trust that against Green Bay, and especially with Bam Knight kind of being a committee there, that seems a bit iffy to me.
I have a quick
But
question. Did you
mhm,
not want to try to pick up Bam Knight?
I just didn't think it was worth it. Like,
With the waiver?
yeah, it wasn't worth the waiver for me. And for those types of committee situations, it's like I have a guy. It's like I have a guy who I'm confident is going to like be getting some types of carries. If I needed to start Michael Carter, I could, but I didn't for a situation where ultimately like my hope is that Trey Benson comes back and is the starter again. Like he's in my IR slot. So
It should
I'm
be.
not gonna waste more waiver value trying to pick up someone who really in the best case scenario is not going to be a factor for me once Benson's back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's a good point. I got him. That's why I was
So
asking.
yeah, I'm trying to save my waiver claim. I've been first in the waiver claim like pretty
Yeah,
much all
that
season,
would not
and
have been worth it.
and yeah, at this point, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I'm holding on to it's like 7 weeks in. We haven't really gotten a super big one.
I think with the trade deadline, you could see something big, like a Jerome Ford traded to a team where he's a starter, something like that.
I do think yes, I do think the trade deadline is going to be significant. Um, yeah, I think that's going to shake some things up for sure,
Yeah.
but still, it's I don't know. I do feel happy with where I'm at though with my team. And this week, going up against Max, I think regardless of who I put in at running back, I love my receiving core. And I really wish I could start a fourth receiver this week with Mike Evans potentially coming back. Like I think that I really do think that my team right now, I have four top 15, top 20 receivers on any given week.
Trade
And
me one.
hmm,
Trade me one.
I was going to say that's something that over the next couple of weeks, like the one hole I have in my roster, I think is that RB2 slot. Um, hopefully Trey Benson fills that. Hopefully Woody Marks can step into that role. But I would love to have someone who I'm a little bit more confident in. So with JSN, Adunze, Sutton, and Evans, I think I have some pieces. Hopefully Christian Watson, that's another sneaky one. I think that he could really make a big impact for Green Bay. I'm hoping between those guys that I can make something shake with that.
Yeah. I think you've got a good shot this week too. I think Max has a few really good players like Drake London, even Marvin Harrison, Diggs, McCaffrey, Stafford. He doesn't have Josh Allen this week, but still a decent team. But I think if you drop 100 the 120, you should be fine in this matchup.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, in
But
mine,
yeah,
going up against like third place Matt Levin. He has a lot of people on bye though, James Cook, Lamar. So that's kind of big for me. He's starting Matthew Golden, Harold Fannin, Jordan Mason. This is being recorded after Thursday Night Football. Jamar dropped 30 on me, so not feeling good after that. But I don't know. I feel confident. I mean, JT can drop 30 and offset that any day. Daniel Jones, I need a big game out of him. I think if my receiver stepped up, that's really where I could like offset that and get back even and kind of offset as Matthew Golden and Harold Fannin and those kind of not as great players. So I don't know. I think I got a good shot. I also have George Kittle hopefully coming back from IR, Terry McLaurin potentially re-entering the lineup if he's healthy against Dallas. So a lot of moves still to be made with my lineup, but as of now, I like my chances still. I mean, 30 is a lot to come back from, but I think it's doable. So I
yeah.
need
But I mean, even you were talking about earlier with Joel and Yusuke, like Yusuke being projected to win that matchup and Joel's first place, you're projected to be Matt. He's also top of the league. So I think it's your team is in a good spot. And yeah, I think definitely if you can get McLaurin back, Kittle's like a top five tight end consistently. Because like really your I think the hole that you have is at receiver, like some of the boom or bust at receiver, but you have enough consistency everywhere else, especially if you have a top tight end back in your lineup if you're able to get a good 80, 90 baseline and then the rest is boom or bust from your receivers, that puts you in a good spot.
no, exactly. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And we'll see what happens. Hope I win. You can lead this, man. It's been tough for us.
Yeah, well, I think the Chicago game was by far the most frustrating because it was so I mean Atlanta game as well, both winnable games, similar to like our fantasy or how I feel about like fantasy performance is winnable games. Like it's games that were not out of
Error.
reach. The
Yeah.
one against Chicago was solely based off of errors, I feel like, and the Jaden Daniels fumble at the end up losing that one. But beating the Chargers shows that this team is capable of beating the best in the league, capable of competing with them. Being able to get Jaden Daniels back, having him healthy, and beating the Chargers again week 5 was a huge kind of statement win for us and for him. But clearly a lot of room for this team to grow and figure things out because Atlanta and Chicago are teams you'd expect to be beating based off of how we did last year, but we weren't able to pull through with either one of those.
I don't think we're done though. Like I think if Terry comes back and he's somewhat near what he was like last year, I think that changes a lot of things. And I think with Jaden Daniels, you can really win any game. Like I don't think honestly we didn't deserve to win that game. We came back near the end and took over the lead and it looked like we were gonna win and then we kind of sold it there. But I mean, I don't know. I think Jaden really kept us in there the whole game. He did cost us it at the end, but if Jaden can stay perfect, and I think he was kind of perfect last year, and it showed in this last game. If he can stay perfect, we have a chance any week. So we'll see what happens.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's week 6 or heading into week 7. Say like week 7.5 since Thursday night football already happened. But thank you for listening. Thanks for joining us, and we will be back hopefully with better results in the interim this time.
Ideally, one of us is at least 4-3 next week.
Yeah, so one of us is going to be above 500. That'll
That's a
be
lot.
that'll be the
A
goal.
lot.
The next time, that's our lock. The next time we talk,
And if
one of us
not,
will
you
be above
won't have a
500.
podcast.
Yeah, until one of us is. So maybe that just means we're done for this
We're ready
year.
to jinx ourselves. Like that. Did you see the Panthers? They have a podcast. There's like this like meow like Panthers
Oh, word.
club. They had this fan club basically. They're 1-3. They canceled it because they're like, we don't want to keep wasting time and
But now they're
losing. And then they won 2 in a row, and they're like, do we come back? Like, nah, they can't. They're like, it's too late. But